Life is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been showing that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis, have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. We'll match you with the perfect buddy. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
We're offering you a free membership, so please sign up today. Share this with your friends and family, and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a chemo buddy for life.
We are a buddies network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are chemo buddies for life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else, you belong with us at Chemo Buddies for Life.
Healing through connections.
Today, over 1 billion children in the world live in poverty. At Help Heal Humanity, our goal is to connect children in need with people like you who want to make a difference. Our student sponsorship program helps provide children with the necessities for a healthy and successful start to life. When you sponsor a student, you're not only giving them the gift of education, you're giving them the best chance for a brighter future. 100% of your donation supports the tuition fees, uniforms, textbook, and school supplies needed to thrive in a safe and healthy learning environment. Sponsor a student now and be the catalyst for their brighter future.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It seemed like I heard like me talking to myself back. You know how that you get that?
Oh, that reverberation.
Yeah. I was like, good morning, good morning, good morning.
It's like an echo when you can yell down into a canyon, or we used to like shout it into like the microphones, and things would echo back.
Yeah, and that's what I was when I said it. I was like, okay, I'm saying a little bit good morning too much. It's like, yeah. But that's okay. That's okay. So how you doing, lady?
I am doing really well. You know me. I'm on a mission to make happiness the norm rather than the exception.
I'm with you.
And once in a while, you have to do it for yourself too.
Yeah,
self-care. So, I've got some things are happening that I need to make a couple of decisions, and I have been known in the past to just jump in, make a quick decision, and then go afterwards. Go, ooh, maybe I should have thought of that a little bit. One of those. So, that one of my best friends, and we are study buddies, is Google. So
I was going to say, okay.
One of my study buddies is Google and YouTube. You can look up anything. So this morning, I just said, you know what, Barbara, for heaven's sakes, because this is not life altering. And yet I don't want to, I think the thing is, I don't want to make this decision based on my ego of that, you hurt my feelings. How can you be, one of those kinds of decisions? And of course, here's tripod right away.
Yeah, that's almost
yeah, she's doing well. But anyways, so it was like, I said, you know what? All right, I am going to take, no, but don't play with my microphone, dear.
Tripod wants to talk.
Yeah, she's good.
She's like, I want to speak, not you.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't want to make the decision based on feelings, and so it was like, all right, so that's what I've been doing. I've been taking some time to really decide what I want to do. So then I said, well, I wonder what Google says about making a decision. Oh, well, you wouldn't believe how many things are out there on how to make a decision. I mean, from 7 steps to making good decisions for your team, making good decisions for this. And then I said, well, I wonder if there's any graphics. Because maybe so thinking, hey, Barb will be proud of me because I'll make a post. So you wouldn't believe how many absolute graphics are out there about steps to making a decision. So actually, it has made it is just all sorts of things. And the thing is, it has made it easier to say, okay, it has lightened up my feeling, because I've been feeling a little bit heavy since yesterday, because sometimes we do have to make decisions, and sometimes they're not like, oh, where do you want to go for dinner?
It's a little bit more, deeper.
It's a little bit more that's going to do, and so like, what is this going to affect, and how is this going to affect this, and all that stuff. So I said, well, I am going to take some time to really, and so then of course my mind goes to, I wonder what Google says about making decisions. Well, you wouldn't believe. So how do you make a decision? Step number 1, don't let stress get the better of you.
Okay.
How many times have I done that in the past?
It's like it starts off with that alone. I like that. Yeah.
That's how many times have I made a decision because I was stressed? Oh, I'm just gonna, and then afterward go, oh, what was I thinking? Okay. Step number 2, give yourself some time. Oh, gee, Barbara, pat myself on the back. I'm doing that. Let's give ourselves some kudos for when we do. So a life lesson, give yourself some kudos when you do something right. So I'm giving myself some time. Weigh the pros and cons. And I woke up thinking that this morning. All right, maybe I'll just sit down and what the pros of this, the cons of this. What's it going? What else is it going to impact? And so that's
good. I like that. Yeah, I always think of
and that's going to tie into the second part of what we're going to talk about. And that's called that Benjamin Franklin authored that, of the pros and cons.
Okay. See, that's something that I didn't even know that. I'm learning
from way back when.
History.
Yeah. So that's a little history. So our little history today is going to be fun too. But then think about your goals and values.
Okay.
Is this decision with your values, in alignment with your values? Huge. Is that what part of this decision is in line with your values?
That helps you with boundaries too.
That helps. That exactly. So this is kind of, for the decision that is kind of a boundary decision that I have to make.
Okay.
And so it's like, okay, yeah. Both sides of that, and is it in values? Is it within my values? And so that's kind of where I'm just getting it out. So then the next thing I went, oh brother, Barb's going to love this. Step number 6, no, step number 5 is consider all the possibilities. Is there another way? There's plan A, there's plan B, but is there a plan C that will be mutually agreed, a mutual thing? A mutual thing. But then step number 6 is talk it out. So here we are talking about it.
I was gonna say, did you talk it out by yourself, and now we're talking about it together with you?
So it's talk it out, because sometimes just like I just said at the beginning, even just going and doing some of this little research and knowing that I'm coming on this show, this was like it lightened.
Yeah, the load.
It's lightening the load of because it's not just me, there's other people involved.
Yeah, and that makes it. And the first thing that you mentioned, that could make you stress. So you have to
exactly because of the other people that are involved. It's not just me. If it was just
question
me,
for you. Now, question, since we're talking about the steps of decision making, I love this. Now you just mentioned that there's other people involved. Now the decision that you have to make, do you need to bring them into the decision making or no?
No, but my decision is going to affect them.
But they don't have to be a part of.
They don't have to be part of it.
Wow.
No.
Yeah, that is
so that so it's a little bit so that's why I'm really taking some time to think about it, because it is a boundary issue, and it's like, so where am I going to draw my boundary?
Yes. But then, like you said, and I love what the steps it said, because you brought in your values and your beliefs and because you have to look at that, because if you're doing something and your value and beliefs are totally opposite of that, then that's a big reason to probably make that decision to say maybe no or whatever. I'm just
or is there a compromise? Is there another possibility? Because it's just, I feel strongly about my values. I'm a woman of faith, and it's like, and so I've been praying about it overnight. And so we're going to see. I'm taking some time to really decide, because it's not time critical that it has to be done like in 5 minutes. So that's what I'm taking. I am taking time to make the decision. So then the step number 7 is keep a diary. And one of the things is I journal. So later on, I'm going to sit and just see what comes out of my fingers as I'm journaling.
See, the journaling. I love journaling.
Yeah,
I love journaling.
And I use morning pages. I cannot write a journal, and yet I teach people, write it down. But when it's something that I'm angry about, then I do write it down, because I've got to get it out of my body.
This is like
the physical of getting it out of your body. Absolutely. But if I'm just journaling, then it's like, whatever comes up, but I use morning pages.
Yeah. And you, I'm sorry, I don't want to stop you with your steps.
Nope. That was it. So, but the plan, number 8, plan on how you're going to tell the other people that are involved.
Now we get into the other people. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So depending on what my decision is going to be, that it's going to affect other people, how am I going to tell them?
So are you going to tell them, like, bring them all together in person? Are you going to put it on a message? Are you going to do an email? What are you going to do? Okay.
Exactly. And just, it's like, how about, and so that's,
what is it? Well, the way you said it like that, Barbara, it sounds like this decision is really like, oh boy, because once I made the decision, how am I going to tell this?
How am I going to tell them? Anyways, and then step number 9 is rethink your options. Look at your back to step 5. Consider all the possibilities. But then rethink, and so that's kind of where this was like, oh brother, thank you, thank you, Google. I mean, yes,
Google's our friend. Google's our friend.
Google is our friend. Yes. But anyways, so this has really helped, and now here I'm talking it out, and because I've got to make it the decision this week sometime, before the end.
It had to be today, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be today, but just in a timely manner, because it will affect other people. So what happens with them? But anyways, so it was just so funny, because as I was looking at this, it was like, oh, talking about decisions. Well, you know me, I'm a little bit of a history buff, but I like to go on to and see what day it is today. I mean, last week it was National Cinnabon Day.
Yeah.
That was very cool. But today is Casimir Pulaski Day.
Okay.
I live in Chicago. I see all sorts of things that are Pulaski.
Okay.
Okay. So who was Casimir Pulaski? Well, I looked him up. I went,
but the way you said it, you're like, who is it?
Who was he? Who is he? Why is there a street named after him?
Yeah, why is there a day? Whatever.
Why is he remembered?
Mm-hmm.
Why has he left a legacy that has now? And so this is why it ties in with making a decision. The decisions that you make today, is it going to leave a legacy of hurt later on? Or is it going to leave a legacy of positivity later on? Or is it going to be remembered at all? You
see, great minds think. You got a great mind. Well, I always say you got this beautiful mind. And the reason why I'm saying that right now is because I was going to get, after you were done with the Pulaski thing, I was going to talk about legacy. And you just brought it in. I mean, I didn't have to say anything. I was like, okay, is Barbara reading my brain right now? Because that's what I was about to talk about.
What we're going to talk about. Anyway, so who he was, and then we'll talk about his legacy. Anyways, he was 15, living in Poland. Poland went to war with Russia.
Okay.
15. He's a soldier.
15 years old. Wow.
15 years old. Okay. This is back in the 1770s.
Okay. Way back. Okay.
Over 200 years ago. Anyways, well, after that, he decides that he's going to take his experience, and he started to travel. Well, he went west out of Poland. He landed in Paris. Well, guess who he met in Paris?
Ooh.
George Washington.
Wow.
So George Washington said, hey, back then soldiers were young. Here he was, a 15-year-old soldier, had experience. George Washington, he came to the States. Well, he became the brigadier general in the Continental Army. That he rose through the ranks and he became a brigadier general in the Continental Army. Well, one of his specialties was he was a horseman. He was a horse guy. Well, guess where our cavalry came from? From Casimir Pulaski. And that's why he's known as the father of the modern cavalry.
Wow. At 15.
And he started at 15, and then over the years coming up,
amazing.
And then he died as a result of wounds in the American Revolution. But can you imagine? He met Benjamin Franklin. Talk about making a decision. He made the decision to leave.
That's what I was going to say. All that led to
all those steps
of
making a decision.
You see how important it is? Well, some things I know it's just, it's just the way things work in the universe. But like you said, you still have to make certain decisions to get to that road. And if he would have made something different, how about if he decided just to stay? How about he decided that to go west?
Exactly.
Then all that wouldn't have revolved after that. Wow. That is amazing.
Wasn't it? And talk about leaving a legacy. He is still known, and he has a day named after him. He has a street named after him. He has all sorts of things. So decision making is
really important. And it was funny because I was thinking about when you were saying, I know I'm not really jumping, but just, it all kind of ties into what you're saying.
Exactly.
I remember on last Thursday when we had the Diamond Perspective.
Diamond Factor. Yeah.
And we were talking about commitment.
Right.
That was our thing. What are you committed to? We were talking about individually, family, friends, and then, clients.
In your business. Yeah.
In your business. And I think, with decision making somewhere down the line, I think 98% down the line, some kind of commitment has to be made somewhere with that. Yeah. So you have to look at remember when we said about commitment, once you say yes to something, you have to think about all of the, like you're saying, kind of like going down that same kind of list in a sense, when you're making that decision, because ultimately people, either yourself is going to be like, okay, you made this yes, or people that are affected by it, you said yes to, and you have to follow through.
And I think it doesn't matter what kind of a decision it is. Sometimes it's a family decision. Sometimes it's a business decision. Sometimes it's a financial decisions. I have made financial decisions that were like, oh, I thought about them afterwards and went, oh, I should never have done that. But then on the other side of it was like, oh, I should have done that. And then you're caught in the middle of beating yourself up for the not doing and then for doing. And yeah, exactly. So and that's where the stress comes in. Don't give into the stress of make a conscious decision.
Now I want to throw something at you here.
Sure.
Because I always, when I think of stuff, I always throw the other side of to think about. So I know part of you went back going to the steps of decision making. Yeah. One of the steps was take your time. Time. How if you don't have that time?
Well, therein lies the rub, because sometimes some decisions are so time critical. And there have been times like that then it's trust your gut.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Biggie, because I truly believe that within each one of us, we have that. If it's a critical decision, we will know. We will know, oh, I need to do that. And most times it is the correct decision. If you can take that 1 minute, 1 or 2 minutes to just, our usual, take a breath.
It's a breath. That's like take a breath.
Take a life breath. Take 2 or 3 of them. Calm for that split second.
I love, every time now when I have to do something, or if I get kind of like you said, with getting frantic or stressed or whatever, I always think about you. Say, okay, Barbara. I mean, you're in my head. Basically, your face is in my head saying, take a breath.
Take a breath.
And I said, okay, I got to do what Barbara said. Take a breath. And it helps. It really does.
It absolutely does.
Things like that really can help you.
Just breathe. Just breathe. And when you really have to make and you know what, I'm going to tell on myself.
You always, that's okay.
I'm taking all this time to be, spiritual and rational, and it'll come down to, okay, Barbara, today's the day, you got to decide. And then it'll be, all right, what are you going to do?
Well, sometimes that happens to me too. It's like, okay, Barbara, just what are you going to do now?
What are you going to do? I mean, you've been wandering around this, you've been going around this mountain. How many times are you? And then it's like, Barbara, how many times are you going? I love when I can talk to me and you at the same time. Okay, Barbara.
I know, it's made it so easy,
it's so easy. Okay, Barbara, how many times are you going to go around this mountain? Just decide. This is it.
Just make
the line is in the sand. Now decide. And sometimes that's good too.
Yeah. And sometimes it's weird when I know sometimes for me, I can be like back and forth doing the pros and cons, like you said, doing the, okay, my values of it, all that you mentioned. And then at the end of the day, when I'm just like still kind of going back and forth, I just say, Barbara, I sit there and be like, okay, Barbara, you went through all of
your gut instinct.
What are you going to do now? What are you going to do?
What's your gut telling you?
What is your gut saying? You did the process. You went through all the things. Now, what are you going to do? Yeah.
Now, what are you going to do?
Yeah, you got to do it.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's so important. But sometimes people don't even, like, for me, I didn't even realize that there were so many that you could have. I mean, 9 different steps.
I know. That's what I was thinking when you said that. I said, oh my God, there's 9 different steps of decision.
9 different steps. But the thing is, I think what happens, and I have been guilty of this, I have not taken into account some of the steps. And I have gone from step 3 to step 8.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And that's why I'm glad that you went through those steps, because I didn't know I could, I missed some. And now I know, okay, I need to go back and look at that.
And go back and look at them.
Yeah.
And it was like,
because it helps you make that final decision.
And having them in front of you, like, and I kept one of the little graphics, and it's just right in front of me. And I think I'm going to post it today.
Yeah.
Just because I cannot be the only one that struggles with making a decision sometimes. I mean, sometimes some decisions are so easy. Mm-hmm. You get, especially if you happen to get your dander up. I remember one time I was a department manager for a fairly big store chain. And one day this girl came in, and I had been thinking about letting her go. And she came in one day, and I don't even remember what was the scenario. I looked at her and I said, you know what? You're done. Never in my life had I fired somebody so quickly. It was like, you're done. That you have just gone that one step too far. You're done.
That's what you said, Barbara.
Goodbye.
It didn't take that long to make that decision.
It was like that. All right, this is it.
Wow.
You're done.
Well, with that said, Barbara, we got to bring our wonderful guest that's going to come on, Mrs. Catherine Ann Clayton. And I just want to say, this lady, I can't wait to talk to her. I mean, you bring in the best of the best guests.
She's cool.
I mean, I have to. She's a business and leadership coach, a founder of her company. And, I always say woman power, because
woman power.
we have to be together and give that power to each other, encourage each other. So after our sponsor comes on, we're going to bring this wonderful queen on and have a conversation with her, right, Barbara?
Cool beans.
Ooh, what they say, cool beans.
Cool beans.
When you do nothing, nothing happens. Best time to take action is now. This is the time to work on you and your business. So I've created a group, an online academy for professionals and entrepreneurs. Power Partners will help you to start helping yourself.
Helps me change my life and my business.
Not a Toastmasters, it's not a BNI, it's not any of these, but it is. So it's all this stuff in one place.
Get the results that you deserve right now. So what are you waiting for? Let's make it happen. See you in Power Partners.
Ta-da!
Good morning.
Good morning. How are y'all this morning, bright and early?
Doing very well. Very well.
Awesome.
So,
you can see I'm working in the background.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
Strategizing everything for the new year.
Awesome. Wow. See, and you know what? She's already doing a good thing, Barbara. She's planning already in October. Some people wait till like December 31st or something like that. So
exactly.
Wonderful. So welcome to Time to Shine Happiness Show, Queen. I call Lady Queen, so that's what you get. You're Dean Queen.
I like it. We need to teach the men around here in my family to call me Queen. How about that?
Oh, okay. Well, see, now that you said that, I'm going to send a message to your family.
Yes, my son especially.
Remember now, call your mother Queen.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is amazing. Yeah.
So it is so fun. I have to tell you, I've met Catherine Ann several times, and I said, "Oh, we've got to have you on the show," just because of all the stuff that she does. And so, Catherine Ann, tell us about you and how you got to be where you are and why you do what you do. It's fun.
Well, I'm Catherine Ann Clayton, and first I am a wife and a mom, and second I am a leadership and money business strategist. How I got here was a very long, interesting story. I will not go into all the details. I taught school for 21 years. And I had my second child and wanted to stay home. And that lasted, when they're infants, that lasted about 6 months. And I was like, oh my God, I have to go back to work. Now, the reason I did that was because, I married late in life, and I was just a go-getter. And I was just, you can only change so many diapers and wash so many pairs of underwear before you're just done. And so I didn't want to go back to teach. So I went into the business sector and started in a sales department in an energy company, and became the number one salesperson there. I was there for 8 years. And then I came out, you know how I feel like that, my faith is God. Somebody else may have energy or whatever their faith is, but I feel like that, you get signs about your future and what you're going to do. And a lot of things started happening, and I got called into my boss's office and was told that I make too much money. I make more money than her, and that they were going to cut my commissions. And then around about the same time, and I can't remember which one happened first, but around the same time I came home and I was with my little girl and my husband, and she was doing something. And I said, well, Mommy will help you. And she looked up at me, and she has these huge brown eyes. And she said, Mommy, you're too tired and grumpy and you have to work. Daddy will help me. Well, that killed me. And so at that point, with all the things that were happening at work, and we did the numbers, I'm a real numbers girl. And so I said, what does this mean when they're going to do this, this, and this? Because, for all the people that have been in corporate, they say stuff so convoluted that you don't know what's going on. And so my husband looked at me and he goes, that's a 90% cut. And I was like, what? And he goes, remember that deal you sold that you made over $6,000? You're going to make like $694 on it. And I was like, oh. And then we talked, and he was like, I got you. So I walked away, didn't know what I was going to do. Landed into business coaching. I'm an expert on LinkedIn. And so that's where I started coaching business strategy on LinkedIn. And then I still realized I was spending a lot of time on the computer, and went through some transformational leadership work, coached that for a little bit. And then I really realized that my vision was to help the everyday person create wealth. And that is something that not a lot of people do. I mean, a lot of people want you to jump into their program. I had programs that were $12,000 a year, and a lot of people want you to do that, but nobody ever says, well, you know what, for $500, you can create wealth in a year. And I found a company that I represent, and it is an affiliate company, and I bring people on, and I've had people that have, doubled their income in a month. I've had people that have gone really slow. You don't have to. It's an investment. You don't have to build a company. And if you don't want to, you can simply put in the $500 and use the power of compounding to grow your income. I started, a testimony to me, I started with $700, and I looked at my numbers over a couple of days ago, and over 14 months, I've created over $56,000. And I have used the money, to help pay for my daughter's college, to take our family on a trip for vacation. So it's been really, a joy for us. And, speaking of happiness, I think that you get to have, a lot of things to create your happiness. I think that you get to have faith, whatever that faith is. You can believe in whatever you want to believe. I'm not saying your God has to be my God. It can be, Buddha, whatever it is, energy, whatever it is. I think you have to have family that supports you. I think that you get to have your finances in order. Right. And that means that your bills are paid, and what my husband and I call the 4 walls. Which means, is your house being paid for, or is there food on the table? Is there gas in the car? And then the last one, I really think that you get to have fun. So I call that the 4 F's. So faith, family, finances, and fun. So that is what will create, a happy life for you. So that's kind of it, me in a nutshell.
Wow.
But didn't that sound
I like the F's. I like the concept of the different F's.
Well, feel free to use it. It's something that has really, set our family together. We've taught it to our children, and when I grew up back in the 70s, my parents didn't, I never did without, and I was born kind of with the silver spoon in my mouth, but my parents never taught me about money.
Right.
And so I remember when I got my first paycheck, it was $1,400. That tells you how old I am. And I went and spent it on clothes. And I came home, and my boyfriend had come over, and I showed him all my clothes, and he goes, "Have you paid rent? It's only August 20th or whatever it was." I was like, "Oh." And so I had to take all the clothes back so that I could pay my $450 rent back then.
I wish it was that. I remember those days.
Rent was like $450. All bills paid too.
I know. It's like
not anymore.
No, definitely it's like triple. But Kathy, I'm just amazed when you said, and I know Barbie had something to say too, when you said that you just started with $700 and then it built to that much. That is, amazing.
I wish I had listened to my friends the first time they showed it to me, and instead I sat back and I watched. And when they told me that they had made $900 in a week with about 10 minutes of work, I was like, okay, wait a minute, this can't be legit. But you know what? Here's 700, because I always say, don't invest in something that you're not afraid to lose, because there's always risk out there.
Yeah. Right.
I also teach that after you put in your initial 500, you can take it out if you want to, And so now you're playing with what I call monopoly money. So I'm playing with monopoly money. If it goes away, am I going to be sad? Absolutely. But it's really, I've already gotten my investment out, and I'm pulling out today again because we're about to go on another trip. And so I'm going to pull out today, have the money. I just looked before I jumped on the show. It's already there, ready to go into my bank account. So it's very nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. And I have to admit, I am working on putting my stuff together to be able to do it. I've got to move, just don't you love things? I've got to move it out of one into something else. And so, yeah, it's, I figured, why not? I think it's kind of like, that's one of the decisions that, yes, I have to move around some things, but the decision is made. So now it's just a matter of moving the things around to get it to work. But that was an easy decision. I said, yeah.
Well, and I'll tell you something that I always say, money loves speed.
Right.
And so, you get to go and do it fast, and then just not think about it, and then
not think about it.
Yeah, and then just go. And so, we tend to he and haw and ask questions, and and is $500 really $525 because you got to pay fees. But is it going to kill you if you lose it? If it's going to kill you and you're going to lose your house and you're not going to be able to be fed and all that, then do not do this. But if you look at your 401k, which most of us have, if you look at your stocks, which most of us have, they are going down. I talked to a friend the other day, and his 401k went from 400,000 to 201,000.
Yeah.
He's like, tell me what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, talk about 401k. I was just, when the COVID-19 hit, it hit all of us with 401k. I was like here, and then all of a sudden, within 2 days, it was.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, I was like, no, don't do this. So what are you doing? So it hit. So I was like, okay, I need to find some other avenues. That's what told me right there. And I think a lot of us through this whole pandemic, talking about decision making. Let's think about a whole lot of things of what we need to change and certain things we need to do. And I said, okay, I need to find, the first thing I was like, I need to find another avenue for investing. Right. And making sure that when I get just a little bit older, we're all telling our age right now. I don't have that much time. Let's just say that I need to make sure that it's there. And when I seen that, I did stress out. Barb, we were talking a little while ago about decision making, and the first thing is don't stress. Well, I'm going to tell you, let's be vulnerable. I was stressing because I'm like, okay, I've been working since I was 16, and now I'm seeing all this stuff going down. I'm like, what do I do? So, Catherine, we're going to be having a talk. We're going to have a one-on-one conversation because this is something that I need to make that decision, think about it for future. Early future, like now.
Like yesterday future.
Like yesterday future, yeah. Like yesterday.
Right.
So, Yeah.
Wow.
So for some, I mean, we're just going to say, for people that have never thought this way. I mean, because we are brought up in a traditional, like my dad had a job, he invested in stocks and bonds, and he, and CDs. Oh, I'm going to tell. The other day, I had an investment. I got an investment check. Not a check, but a little statement. Dividend. Guess how much the dividend was?
Like $2 and something.
Oh, you're extravagant with that.
It was less than $2?
1 cent. They actually sent me a statement that my interest was 1 cent.
Yeah, I don't get that.
That's crazy. I tell you, it's going to cost you more if you don't just put it in the bank. It'll cost you more cash.
I was like, you are kidding me.
That is crazy. 1 cent
to one. The dividend was 1 cent.
Yeah, and they paid more for the stamp to get it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
What's wrong with this picture?
Yes, well, yeah, that's an easy fix to say what's wrong with that picture. Like Catherine just said, it took more money to stamp than to send you the check with the.
All right, can I tell one of my pet peeves is well, we lost Barb for a minute. One of my pet peeves is that we still use pennies. It costs over a nickel to make a penny.
Wow.
Why are we still using pennies?
I don't know. Well, I have a lot of them.
Oh, there you are. You're back.
I'm back.
Yeah. But it was just the weirdest thing. It costs over a nickel to make a penny. Why are we still using pennies?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, okay. I heard, well, maybe this is going to happen in the near future. I heard eventually with currency and everything, we're not going to see too many like pennies and nickels. I mean, basically it's like transactions through, technology and all that.
They're trying to get rid of money.
And it's funny because I still, I get coins here and there if I have money in my wallet, small, because I don't like to carry money. And when I see nickels and pennies and stuff, I said, you're not going to be here for long. We're exactly seeing this for a while. This is going to fade away more. So
because more and more people are using their cards, their debit cards.
Right. Yeah, or any card, because right now anybody can get any kind of debit type of card now. Even if you're just adding money to it, you don't have to even have a credit. No, I mean, a lot of people do that because they don't want to use the like you said, the dollars and things.
I tend to forget money. And I'm going to tell on myself for a second. I had traveled. So in this, I put on a pair of jeans that I had not had on since the spring. And they were just hanging in my closet. Never thought anything of it. I put them on last week and there was money in the pocket. But my card, I never lose track of. I know what's on my card.
So you're like me, bro. It's funny you said that because just the other day, same thing. I was going through just mail, just different things that I've been throwing. And I see this one envelope. I said, oh yeah, it was a bank thing. And it had $3 in there. And it was there. I know it was there for a while because that envelope I put in maybe a year ago. So now I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah. So when I seen it, I said, okay, well, but how many other envelopes in there? When you have those dollars like that, for some reason you kind of forget. But the debit card and stuff, that's one thing I don't forget. It's I keep track of that all the time and making sure in and out.
But that's one of the things that attracts me to Catherine Ann's program is that it's I can just put it in and then forget it. I want to be able to just let it grow. And then if I do need, because it's kind of I'm looking at it as yes, I can, if something happened that it went away, okay, fine. However, I have spent $500 on
many things. Yeah.
Stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Stupid stuff. So why not use this to put into something that has potential? Now, especially with the craziness that's going on, I truly believe that they are trying to break up the World Bank.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I believe that in the next 10 years we will go to a world digital currency.
Yeah. That's what they're trying to get to, I think, believe.
And, because then, I mean, banks do it all the time. They're millions of dollars in transactions instantly.
Well, and if you
no hope of competing with that.
Yeah, excuse me for interrupting. If you look at some of the Forbes and all of the really good sources, Citibank has gotten into cryptocurrency, Chase has gotten into cryptocurrency, Wells Fargo has gotten into cryptocurrency. Fidelity within the next 3 years is going to allow their money managers right now who cannot touch crypto, they're going to allow them to start trading crypto. You know how they trade stocks and bonds and all that stuff? They're going to allow them to start trading crypto. So it is a completely different way of thinking. But if you look at the writing on the walls, all of these huge companies are jumping in. They're jumping in for a reason. We just don't know it. We don't get privy to the information until it's already done and it's almost already too late.
Yeah, and then we just get to react rather than
respond. And that's not good. But Catherine, I know with our time right now, I want to ask you if you can do it real quickly, and we have to bring you back on because this is some good stuff. Now, with investment, and if hopefully you could talk about this, I mean, if you can, I understand if you need to do the one-on-one, but just a little glance, like once you do the investment, is it invested in stocks, bonds, or it's just a program?
No, it is investing in 4 different things, okay? And it's a hedge fund. They do, we have it's in the crypto market, okay? And we have live traders that trade. They trade cryptocurrency, and there's 2,000 cryptocurrencies that they can trade in. What we hear about is Bitcoin and Ethereum and all that. They trade cryptocurrency. They trade in the foreign exchange market, which is basically, on a 101 level, you're trading just because I know it, the Russian ruble for the Chinese yen or the England pound for the American dollar. And you make pennies on the dollar as you're doing each transaction, but over a week period, it turns into big money. They also, the company is invested in mining. So they mine Bitcoin and Ethereum and all this stuff. I don't understand it. I'm going to be honest, 101, I don't understand it. I just know I get paid every Friday. And then the company has another section where they have Bitcoin ATMs all around the world. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, well, what does that mean? Well, I have one of my team members that sent me 3 pictures in, I believe it was Louisiana, where there was an ATM that would give you Bitcoin. So they are coming.
Wow.
Yeah.
And if you put your money in, you can get Bitcoin. And there's some in Las Vegas in the United States. There's a lot over in Dubai and all those progressive countries. And what they do is they pull all that money together. And since it's a hedge fund, everybody makes the same percent each week, but the percentages change. So if we did really, really well, we could possibly, make a higher percentage. The average percentage per week on your money is 3%. Now, with that being said, it fluctuates. For instance, last week we made 3.26. The week before that, we made 3.3. When crypto crushed back the second week in May, we made 0.065 or 0.65. So we almost made a point, but we didn't make the 3%. And so, all
you still made money though. But you still made money. You didn't lose money. That's what got my attention. You didn't lose. You made.
I like how Barbara threw in there, but you did lose money.
Yeah, we didn't lose money. And the company, it's been here for 3+ years, and not 1 week have they not made a profit.
Wow.
Because it's a profit-based company. They don't use people's money to pay you. They pay from off their profits, and we get paid 70%. 20% goes to the human traders, and 10% goes back into the company. So it's a real, for me, it's a very safe investment Now, we don't know what the United States is going to do with all the laws and all this stuff going on. It's accredited. It has all of the accreditations that it needs. They were the CEO and founder of the company. They are very much on the laws and having all the certificates and doing things the right way. So,
especially when you're dealing with money. So now, can you just once you invest in the, like that 500, that 525, as you said, with the fee, I remember that.
Yeah.
Do you have to do anything, or you just kind of say, okay, here's my investment?
Yes, you do. Well, you have a choice. On Fridays, you can either compound your money, which means you take your money and you put it back into your trading balance. Okay. Or you can withdraw your money.
Oh, okay.
Now, the first 90 days, they want you to leave it there with, or you'll get a 15% penalty. So after 90 days, and you can add to it, you can take away from it, you can pull your money out. You have access to your capital at any time that you want it after that 90 days. Like I got paid last Saturday night, and I got paid Friday, and then on Saturday, because I'm building a team. And I requested to have the money come out instead of compounding it. I compounded a little and then requested some more. And yesterday was a holiday. I would have had my money. I had my money. I looked this morning. It came in at 1:30 last night. So, I suggest people try to compound, because obviously, Albert Einstein said that compounding is the 8th wonder of the world. Yeah. And those who learn it make it, and those who don't. Are going to learn.
Like they said, those who don't.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, you have a choice. It takes about, when things are going fast and not everybody's on the internet, it takes about, I've done it in 27 seconds. But it might take as long, I say 10 minutes. 10 minutes of work for you to compound that money. It's easy. You click about I think I showed Barbara, we click about 7 buttons and then you're done.
You're done.
You're done.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. So Catherine, tell everybody how they can contact you.
I do have, I can put it in the chat. I have I can get it right here. I have my calendar that if y'all want to schedule and just talk a little bit about me. And I don't, tell me if I can plug my webinar that's happening tonight.
Yes, definitely.
I am doing a webinar tonight to explain to you how to do this and how to jump in. It's called Crush Crypto Live, and it's going to start at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. You do have to register, and there's the Bitly link for that.
Okay.
So, and it will be on. You'll get your link about. You'll get it 3 times. I think today is what we set up. So, and it's fun. It's interactive. It's fast and to the point. I don't like to do my presentations where I'm just, I sit on presentations. I'm like, come on, get to the point. Let's go. Oh my God, just tell me what I want to know. So yeah, and you're like, oh, I get to the point. I go fast. The presentation is about 17 to 20 minutes, and then I open up for questions.
Oh, okay. So Catherine added 7 Central Time.
7 Central Time, yes.
So just to let everybody know, first, what's showing up is, I think this part is if they want to just go one-on-one with you.
Yes.
Like they want to go to your Calendly or what you use for that. So just let everybody see that. And while that's going, I'm going to also just show what's going to happen tonight. And so people can sign up for that as well. And like Catherine said, how much? Not even 15 minutes.
Yeah, but the whole thing's probably, depending on how many questions people have, and some people have a lot. But you can come and you can be there for the presentation, ask your questions, and then leave whenever you want.
Yeah. So does everybody, if you're seeing this morning or this afternoon, if you're replaying this for today, at the bottom of Bitly, please, go to Catherine's session and get more information about basically increasing your knowledge of finances and increasing your money to invest in something that it sounds like it's unbelievable great. I love what it's doing. Yeah, in fact, I'm going to be moving some time around tonight so I can be there tonight and listen to more of that. So
okay, so now on behalf of the audience, so if you are watching this later on in the day, now if somebody registers for this, will there be a replay?
I do not do replays.
You do not do replays. Okay.
So they would have to go to this.
Because I want people to show up, and because what this is there's a lot of questions, and I want people to show up to not interpret.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
And so
perfect.
That's just kind of how I do my business,
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, and that's wonderful. So that's why I said, if you're not, well, I know I'm switching back and forth right now, but if you're there, if you see this today, and this is what, October 11th, because we have this replaying this particular show, go to see Catherine, and she will be doing just like a call to explain more about her product. If you want to meet with her one-on-one, and that's anytime,
right?
This is her link that you can meet with her one-on-one and talk and get more information. Either way, you will reach this wonderful Queen Catherine about the information.
Barb, we need to have Catherine in our panel.
Yes. So we definitely need to have her there, another expert queen that I would love to have. So basically, please tell Catherine.
I'll send you an invite to the the women's panel.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Let's give it a plug. Let's give it a plug. It's our Diamond Factor, Diamond Perspectives, and it's the first Thursday of every month. And we have a panel of ladies that comes on, and we talk about relevant topics.
Yeah. And
we are all from different walks of life. And this past one, we talked on commitment. It was amazing. And we all learned from each other.
And we would love to have you part of it if you can.
I'll send you an invite.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you again, Catherine, for coming on. Again, we will be probably calling you back soon. We love bringing, the experts back to the show.
Yeah. I'll look at the show calendar and set it up with Catherine.
Yes. And we just
Catherine Ann. It's Catherine Ann.
Catherine Ann. We got to make sure. Catherine Ann. Queen Catherine Ann. It's got to add Queen before Catherine Ann. So with that, thank you, lady, for coming on. Barbara, as always, love you. Thank you for bringing on the wonderful guests. And we will see everybody next Tuesday. And remember, make happiness, and we're on a mission to make happiness the norm.
The norm.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Have a good one, everybody.
Bye.